Artemis Fowl is the latest original film to land on the Disney Plus streaming service. It stars Ferdy Shaw in the title role, alongside Josh Gad, Dame Judi Dench and Colin Farrell, and is based on the young adult fantasy fiction novels by Owen Colfer. Before we get into this, don't forget to hit that like button. It does wonders in getting my content out there, and as always, throw away down in the comments below and let me know your own personal thoughts on Artemis Fowl. Artemis Fowl is a 12-year-old genius who, after the kidnapping of his enigmatic father, discovers he has a hidden destiny as a criminal mastermind. In order to find his father, Artemis has to uncover an underground world of fairies, pixies, and other magical creatures, and come up against a darkness that threatens the human and fairy worlds. Disney's Artemis Fowl is a movie that's had, I guess, a little bit of a checkered history. The first trailer for this thing dropped way back in November of 2018. The movie was supposed to open theatrically in 2019, and then at the last minute it was just kind of dropped from the release slate altogether and replaced with Maleficent Mistress of Evil, kind of with no explanation as to why. Disney then rescheduled it for a 2020 release, and because of everything that's happening in the world at the moment, Disney ended up wiping their release slate for this year, and instead of rescheduling the movie for a release either later this year or sometime in 2021, they decided instead to drop it on Disney+. Now, this is something that I had actually been calling for a while, or something that I kind of called many months ago. I've been saying for a long time, this movie needs to be dumped on Disney+. We all knew from the trailers that this movie did not look very good at all, and with Disney's track record of original fantasy adventure films, especially over the last few years, Nutcracker and the Four Realms, A Wrinkle in Time, they were both dreadful movies. This movie looked like it is really going to follow in their footsteps. And look, Disney's track record with original films over the last 20 years has really not been all that good. I mean, you get a lot of people complaining, why won't Disney do any more original movies? Why are they doing all these reboots, sequels, reimaginings, all that stuff? This movie is your answer. It is your third and final answer that we've had in like the last 2 or 3 years. These kind of movies just simply are not working for Disney at the moment. Disney's decision to dump Artemis Fowl on the Disney Plus streaming service instead of rescheduling it for a theatrical release is the wisest business decision that Disney have made in a very long time. If you can't tell already, I didn't like this movie. This is a really bad movie. It's actually worse than I kind of expected it would be. I tried to go in with an open mind to try and watch it. I hope that it was actually going to be kind of good, but it just simply wasn't. This is another in a long line of disappointing original family fantasy adventure films from Disney that has just absolutely bombed. And again, Disney have made a very wise decision. They knew this movie was bad. That's why this movie was dropped from the 2019 release schedule. They obviously dropped it off and tried to fix it up a little bit, tried to do something with it to, you know, make it, to salvage the film, and they obviously haven't been able to do that. They knew that this movie was bad, so they just dumped it on the Disney Plus streaming service, because this movie would have been absolutely desecrated at the box office. There was no salvaging this movie. This movie is just... It's just plain and simply a really bad movie. It's going to get a lot more eyes on this streaming service. A lot more people are actually going to see the movie, which is for all those creatives involved in making the film, whether that be behind the scenes or in front of the scenes. I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, they get to see their film seen by a wider audience, because people simply would not have gone to the cinemas to see this. And again, all you need to do is look back at Nutcracker and the Four Realms, A Wrinkle in Time, movies like The Sorcerer's Apprentice, John Carter, movies like these that people just simply did not go to the cinemas to see. This was going to be another one. But that said, John Carter and Sorcerer's Apprentice particularly, they had a little bit of charm. They were exciting adventure films that were mildly enjoyable. Artemis Fowl has none of that. This is another just really bland, uninteresting, unexciting Disney live-action family fantasy original film that just really does not hit its mark. And I'm not even sure that the movie knows what its mark is, because it really doesn't hit on anything. This is a movie that is... I'm not even going to say this is a movie that's slow, because it's not slow. It goes for an hour and a half, and it feels so fast-paced and so energetic that so much is going on, but nothing is going on at all. because there is stuff to kind of keep your attention throughout the movie, but it gets to a point where you're kind of like, I'm just watching stuff happen. There's just so much stuff going on this screen, and I don't know what's happening. It's a movie that has no aim, it has no direction, there's so much happening at once that you actually just get really confused and just zone out. I completely zoned out of this movie. And at one point I had to wake myself up and be like, hang on a minute, what is actually happening in this movie? Look, I don't know, I haven't read these books, so I don't know anything about the source material, but from what I understand, they've kind of taken the first 2 books and melded them into this one film. But I just don't don't understand how that's actually a possibility. And I just kind of imagine that if it is true that they've taken these 2 books and put them into the one film, they must have cut the absolute hell out of these books. They must have just kind of pick and chose what they kind of wanted from each book and just kind of jumbled it up and thrown it onto the screen. It's plain and simple. You guys know me. I like to deliver really positive reviews, but I plain and simply cannot do that with this movie. This movie has very, very few redeeming qualities. I mean, the actors in here, you can just tell that they are trying their best with the material that they've been given. This is a very, very talented cast of very, very talented actors, but their characters here, they just obviously didn't have enough to build a decent character out of it. Dame Judi Dench is probably the best thing about this. She delivers a really decent performance here, again, with what she has, but everything else is just kind of crumbling around her. The visual design of the movie is fantastic. You can tell this movie had probably a huge budget, had a really good production value. Kenneth Branagh is behind the lens as director on this, but even he just can't match that charm and magic and beauty that his more recent fantasy adventure films like Cinderella and Thor were able to capture. It's just kind of really devoid of any of his typical charm or any of his like Shakespearean prowess or, you know, beauty. The way that he crafts his movies usually is just so beautiful, so gorgeous, so Shakespearean. There's really none of that in here. And I don't know, maybe that's because he didn't really have much of an attachment to the source material. Maybe he was a director for hire, or maybe what I kind of imagine is that maybe the studio took this movie and tried to kind of reassemble it and tried to make something out of it. And what has resulted is another example of a movie that has become a studio film as opposed to a director-led film. That's kind of the feel that I get from this movie. This is just, it's not a great movie. If you are above probably the age of 10, you're not gonna find much to enjoy about this. The kids are probably gonna enjoy it because there's just a lot of stuff going on, a lot of explosions, a lot of like fantasy characters and fairies and goblins and stuff. It's probably enough to keep a really young child entertained. But again, above the age of 10, there's probably not a lot of redeeming qualities in this movie for you to actually sit down and enjoy it. Artemis Fowl is another in a very, very long line of original flops for the Walt Disney Company, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to be giving this one a 2 out of 5. Artemis Fowl is a bland, unexciting family fantasy of the kind we've come to expect from Disney originals. It's completely devoid of charm or any Disney magic, and again, Disney made a wise decision to dump this on their streamer, where it certainly belongs. Once again, for all of those who have been screaming for more Disney originals, this is exactly why they don't bother anymore. Expect to see even less of these in the future, especially on the big screen. And at that, everyone, look, this is just one guy's honest, personal opinion. I'm not here to tell you what to think or sway you in any kind of direction. You know, I like to be really positive about movies, and I know there's a lot of you guys out there who are really excited, looking forward to seeing this movie, and I hope there's actually something in here that does appeal to you. I hope a lot of you walk away enjoying this and actually quite liking it. Me, personally, I couldn't find the enjoyment in it. I didn't really like it, but that's okay. I'll just move on with my life now. But at that, I do want to know, as always, your own personal thoughts on the movie if you have seen it. Please fire away down in the comments below. Let me know, did you like it? Did you not like it? Fire away with those honest personal opinions. Don't be afraid. There is no judgment here. At that, until next time though, guys, please continue to stay safe. Continue to stay at home if you can. I do hope you enjoy the movie. Take it easy. I'll see you on the next one. If this is your first time viewing one of my videos and you'd like to see more like it in the future, then please don't forget to hit that big old subscribe button up on your screen, as well as that like button down below for that little extra support. Also, don't forget to check me out on social media, and please consider supporting me over on Patreon. Thanks for watching and have a fantastic day.